Hello, friends. Fated Summon has refreshed for another 168 days. And the first summon, I think, was the free Dunes. No, not Dunes. Yeah, Dunes, I think. Coin that was given. So, yeah, there it is. But let's talk about this. Is there anything of value in this summon or not? I will still repeat that the first row of season 1 should be removed because that is just pure XP for even the old, surely the old players, but even the new players. There is no use of these heroes in today's times. These heroes are made redundant by the heroes just below them, so they will not get picked up. They're just a waste of one whole row, and that's about it. Any logic applied. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the reverse, start from the bottom and go upwards. So the bottom row is of seasonal event heroes. And there's one hero that I don't have, and I'm going to start with that. Santa Claus. He is a slow speed winter family hero. Of course, there is a costume, and he is available along with the costume. So that is important. I'm going to remove the max preview. So no, he's not available with the costume. Sorry, it was the max preview on, so that's why it showed the costume. So he's not available with the costume. He's available without the costume. And so, that's one of the things. Once you remove the max preview, then you actually see what is really on offer and what really is available at a basic level. The reason I discuss heroes without the max preview is not every player is going to put limit breakers immediately for sure, but even eventually. And even if they do, not every player is going to max emblem and limit break everybody. So this really doesn't show the reality. And don't get fooled by this max preview picture that this is available. No, it is not. Because when you remove the max preview, the costume doesn't show up, which means that hero's costume is not available. If it was available, then it will show up, and we will just look up if there is any hero with costume available. So stats you can actually see 618 attack is basically the starting attack of a 4-star. Not starting actually. The end attack of a 3-star. So a fully level 3-star delivers 618 attack. So fully level 4 stars have moved to 700 and 800. And a fully level Santa Claus basic costume, no. Which means why is he being offered? There is something of value. He hits all. And he gives them minion, which is okay. The enemies get minus 34% attack for 3 turns, and enemies get minus 44% defense for 3 turns. So that's where his value lies. Or a collector's item. Means if I were to pick him, it'll be basically sitting till I decide to feed him away or give him away in soul exchange. So that's Santa Claus. Very old, very poor stats, but some portion of the specials for early players, early starters, there is value in it. And of course, slow speed. So, Mother North, again available without the costume. So, I will not go into the stats. The important factor is she has cleric class. There's a benefit of the cleric class. Please look up what the talent class cleric provides. Otherwise, the video will go super long. So I'm skipping that. she is a healer, but the important thing that she delivers is the revive percentage of 50% chance to revive is very, very good, and that's what she does. So she's put in the left flank, left wing, so extreme left corner on defense, then, and she revives. She's still worthwhile, especially when you give the full, so she gets reinforced further. But I would rather keep this because the costume is not available. Again, over here, the costume shows up. So Max Preview has the habit of showing every resource added up, which includes the costume too. So I'm just looking up if there is any hero available with the costume. I don't see any hero being available with the costume. So it's really surprising that at least the season 1 fellows first costume should have been included. But okay, whatever. Going into the third one, Master Lepus. The druid class gives you a chance as a sizable minion. And here, while his attack stat is pretty good, the defense is very low. And health is the ending stat of many 3 stars of today. So this is really poor. But when he arrived 5 or 6 years back, obviously he had some unique benefits, and one of that was a hard hitting hero. So that's 4110 damage plus minor to nearby, which would be 205%. Half of that used to be at that particular time really hard hitting, but minus 20 defense, which comes to him as a fault line for 3 turns after he has done his hammer whack. Doesn't help much, but okay, and it can't be cleansed, so all that was there. But Gazelle used to be one that used to actually cleanse because her special would cleanse everything. So yeah, I mean, with combination useful, but again a dated hero, seasoned event hero. I will leave it at that. Next hero is Rana. She's part of the Sand Empire family. Monk is a good class. Certain kinds of ailments it can duck, avoid. Here the stats are a little better compared to the previous fellows. Otherwise they are 4-star stats. 4-star heroes have these stats these days. Again, a very old hero. Deals damage to 3. There is a damage over turn, sand damage. Healing reduction, and cleanses status ailments only from the caster. So again, available without the costume, and impact 3 hero. We have Victor from Morlovia family. Unique bonus of speeding up as if he needs any speed up. This also is a good talent class. If you have buffs, he hammers harder. Any target, if the target has buffs. Very low damage, defense, and health. So again, very old hero. He is basically hitting 1, so that's 250 damage to the target at very fast speed. Target receives damage over 5 turns. 340 damage over 5 turns. I mean, in which world are we? So, and all allies get plus 30% defense. So the claim to fame is primarily giving at fast speed 30% plus 30% defense to all allies. The one good part is this particular passive. When this character casts their special skills, they have 50% chance to steal the newest dispellable buff from a random enemy that has buffs. If no enemy has buffs, then deals 70% damage to all enemies. So this whack sometimes is useful, but these days of boosted health and massive stats of heroes, along with all this, see, even with max preview, 941 defense, that says a story. What a very low defense this is. So, nope. But yeah, I mean, for starting players, he would be useful in that defense part, but nothing more than that. I wanted to show the max preview of this guy. 1848 and 928 with max preview and 1083. So even though 797 is the starting point, whichever way you get the indication. So there's nothing significant there. So the last line, if I have to say, in the end, I'm going to say which hero is worth it. Let's go to the next one. This is the event section where all heroes belong to some challenge event or some event. So this is Captain Castell. He comes from the pirate family. He's a dodger. This is also a good class. Helps survive via dodging. I'll skip the stats. Just assume, unless there is something mind boggling to speak about the stats, I will skip it. Fast speed pirate. Deals 215 damage to the target and nearby enemies. This percentage is very low because now we're getting heroes that give damage of 250, 260, 270 to all. So impact 3 is no. The more mana enemies have, the more damage they will receive, up to 335. So 335 is fairly decent, but the attack stats is fairly low. So the 335 is not going to have that kind of a crazy impact. Somebody with 200 damage and 1000 attack stats will deliver that, which is what we have. But their attack stats are their attack percentage, damage percentage is much higher. So he is a useful, and when he arrived, he used to be really badass because of that more mana the enemies have. So a player would time hammering, firing him by enabling mana collection opposite when he would be on defense. But if he was on, on offense, and when he would be on defense, then try and avoid him once you have mana. But that's all tricky. It's impossible to have ideal scenario. Basically, you have to play with whatever is the situation. So yeah, the irony was when this special was a good special. But that's the time when newer heroes started to arrive. I think season 2 had started and season 3. So there were better quality reds, and hence Captain Castell got sidelined by a late starter. I started playing this game, I think 2.5 or maybe even 3 years. No, I think two or 2.5 years after the game was launched. So for the last players who joined in the last 4 years, Captain Castell became irrelevant. So he became irrelevant 4 years back itself. And I will leave it at that. So yeah, he could be a collector's item. Lady Locke comes again from the pirate family. Are all of them pirates? No. Pirate family has a unique bonus, which I will say. You get additional attack and you get additional mana with 2, 3, 4, 5 heroes. It's not available for one hero. So Lady Locke, good 805 for that time was a massive stats. The other two are very low. This is your max preview, but she's also available without the costume. Target and nearby enemies receive 932 damage over 4 turns. So this is a staggered damage which starts low and increases with every turn and cleanses status elements of all allies. So damage over turn wasn't even in vogue during the old era. Today it is of no value because 932 damage over 4 turns. These days we have heroes that deliver double that damage in one whack. So I will leave it at that. King Arthur, part of the Avalon family, paladin class. So it is, I would say, a so-so class. The benefit it provides is enhanced defense. Uh, this guy deals 468 damage to the target, which is a good sizable percentage. In about 5 years back, he was a sniper and really sought after. I saw some YouTuber making a video chasing him and got him. And there was a celebration. Very rightfully also during that time because he was amazing. 468 at that time. The target gets minus 39% attack. So he used to give an attack down. Minus 54 defense. 54% defense against ice. So he used to give elemental defense down to a single hero. Which means primarily he would be very handy against titans. And a snipey fellow. And then he would give the self minus 74% defense against special skills, which means his survivability would be activated. But he was a impact 1, that is target and self hero. He's still useful from that elemental defense down. So anybody is looking, especially new starters, who are looking to get a blue elemental defense down hero, that's available. Frida was available. She was a impact 3 elemental defense down in the previous Fated Summons portal. So whoever has picked her up will have no need to pick this guy up, because except the titans, I don't see much use unless you are a new player. As a new player, he's a useful hero to have for the titans if you haven't picked up Frida. Also, he's useful to pair along with Frida or any other blues, for the damage, and at the same time, just team up 3. Elemental defense down heroes, in play are really useful in their own kind of a way. It's up to you how you play and which team you are attacking. And these days, I'm seeing in war people using different tanks. It's not only dark tanks now. So the recent war we fought, there were quite a few mixed tanks. They were dark, they were holy, they were blue, they were red. So that's that. Also, one of the heroes that is really painful of late is this chick, Hathor. Well, you have to dispel her and then do things. So she gives the prevention of ailment buff. So you need all kinds of firepower. Though this guy doesn't dispel. But she is used as a tank. So this guy giving the elemental defense and then hammering will come in handy over there. So all kinds of uses for new players, and I'm going to keep using the word new players unless there is something for the older fellows. But he is an impact self and impact 1 enemy hero. Going into the next one, another hero from the Avalon family, Guinevere. She dominated as a tank when she arrived and was chased. Imagine this kind of a stats players used to chase, which means you can imagine what things were 5 to 6 years back. And she was already there. So I would say at least 5 or 5.5 years back. Critical, which is really a useful benefit. 5, 10, 15, 20, but having 5 heroes on Team Avalon Heroes is impossible. Stats, no comments. Word of the Queen. Reduces mana of all enemies. Now this is the special that would frustrate everybody. Then, and if she starts going, it still frustrates. Reduction of that mana of all. She used to be, not used to be, the version that is being offered is 612 heal over turn, which is of not much use. And obviously, self and nearby allies get plus 54% defense against dark. So this is an outdated special. Heal is only to caster nearby. So she, while from a mana reduction perspective, she is impact all, but for the other 2, she is impact self and nearby era of impact self and nearby ended, I would say, within a year of me joining the game, because I realized and I stopped working on those kinds of heroes because there is not much value that they offer. So that's it. Uh, I'm using this primarily to show the costume version, but it is not available. I can see only this is showing up, but there it's not available, which means I cannot talk about that. Of course, it's irrelevant also to talk about that. So that's Guinevere. Guardian Panther. Fight class, which means possibility to revive. Stats are dated, of course. This is the max preview. Eye of the Panther at fast speed. So she is an elemental defense down for dark and one of the really important heroes since arrival in the Guardian family. Minus 54 defense against dark and dispels buff from the target and nearby enemies. Very relevant even today. And I would say the top hero in this portal. So anybody who doesn't have Guardian Panther, irrespective of when you started, at what level you play, simply get her. People will intellectualize, oh, well, I have costume, secondary costume of the Misha and this and that. Good for you. Don't get her if you don't. But the point is, she offers Dispel, Defense Down, and the whack. So that's the benefit. And max preview, this is a decent number. 1239 attack is brilliant, but obviously it has this inbuilt into it, unfortunately. So it will be reduced, but still. A little SG conspiracy. Once I get a specific hero, then pulling in the regular portals, I get that hero, and hence whoever doesn't have this, obviously you'll get your elemental defense down benefit. Plus at the same time, you'll also get the benefit of maybe this hero showing up through your summons because dupes is what SG doesn't mind people getting. But okay, but that's a far-fetched hypothesis. How real it is, no clue. So I would say Guardian Panther is a brilliant hero. Still, elemental defense down is always useful. And this is an impact 3 hero, not an impact 1. Okay. Going into the portal above. And these are all heroes of the month. So this is the row of previous heroes of the month. Aries is a fiery hero of the month. I'll skip this, though this is high, but this is really useful and it's available to 1, 2, 3 heroes. So mana generation, speed up. He's an impact 3 hero that impacts self and nearby. So there is a attack up to self and nearby. There is a critical chance to self and nearby. Heal over turn for self and nearby. And of course, element link is specific to the fire allies, which is plus 15 attack and plus 15% defense for 6 turns. And this cannot be dispelled. Now, important factor over here is all heroes of the month that are part of, and they're all automatically part of the Legends family. If there are 2 of the same family, which is 2017, so if there are 2 2017, the element length affects all allies. So if Aries is there and there's another 2017, then whatever is the element link, that becomes an additional thing available to all allies irrespective of the color. So that's that. He was chased during his arrival time, 2017. You can do the calculation. That is 6 years back, 5.5 to 6 years back. because we don't know when he arrived during the year. So, yeah, 6. And rather, I can easily say between 5.5 to 6.5 years back. That's a very old hero. Okay, so yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let's go to this guy, Alberich, Albi, the Reviver, again part of the 2017 family. So both the mana bonus and element link benefit can be picked up if there are two of these heroes in play. Uh, okay, his stats, the health is really very low. The other two, when he would have arrived, would have been top notch. 33% chance to get revived with 23% HP. I mean, revival itself was a big thing, reviving your dead heroes. So, Mother North and this guy, wow. His slow speed, of course, heal overturn. And another very unique thing he used to offer was all allies receive a moderate amount of mana over 4 turns, and suddenly you have, without any tiles, a hero charging up because that moderate amount of mana was given when this guy would fire during any of the 4 turns, subsequent 4 turns. So yeah, LB, the reviver, I really wanted him, and eventually when he arrived, I actually have enough revivers, and the game is completely different. So my first reviver was Heimdall, and contrary to what people might say, Heimdall used to revive fairly regularly, but then that's because I used to use him in every raid. So almost for a year and a half, I used him because he arrived in the first portal on the first day in my roster. And I was shocked. So I used him, I leveled him up and started using him up. I didn't level him as to fully because I was fairly a new guy. And plus, I think he revived in my third month, if I remember, third or fourth month in the game. So practically has been there with me. I have obviously reduced him considerably in the last 1.5 years, but the previous 2 or 2.5 years, I have used him almost every day. Not almost, actually every day, across almost all raids. So yeah, that was my reviver, but he's a good reviver to have for anybody who doesn't have a reviver and or anybody who wants a reviver. So there are 2 revivers available in this portal, and they have a decent number percentage of revival. Athena, 2017, Hero of the Month, Legends Family. You can see the stats. This is the same. So they all showed up because they're element link matches. The one row of for those 5 colors, the element link matches, which means uh, they all got introduced in the game in a row. So her claim to fame is she impacts 3, big whack to the center target and minor damage to the nearby. That would be half of the 3015. Sorry, 305. So 152.5 would be whack to the other 2 fellows. The target nearby enemies get minus 41% defense and a further minus 4% decrease every time they are hit for 4 turns, which means she becomes really useful with that regular defense down to the 3 fellows. And against Titan, she has ruled the roost against Red Titan for a long time till new types of heroes showed up and the style of damage being given to the Titan changed. She deals extra damage against fire, which means it'll be over and above the 305 plus the minor damage in case the hero is fire element. And the element link is the same, attack and defense plus 15% for 6 turns and cannot be dispelled. So she is another really good hero to get from a defense down perspective for somebody who's looking for a hero that impacts 3. Regular play and for the Titan, both. Then we have Masashi, Holy Legendary, again part of the same 2015, same element links. So he's part of the same flow. He's a dodger, Fast speed, damage 332 damage to the target and minor to the nearby, and heals himself 50% of the dealt normal damage for 5 turns. Good hero, I would say, for Impact 3 if you're seeking out. But again, remember, these are all very old heroes. They will not be actively used today. Going to Thortamoon, the Dark Fellow. Same. And he doesn't have the same element link. It's plus 10% mana generation for Dark, which means one has been skipped. Color. So I'm just trying to think which Dark hero was part of this. But the important factor is 5 of the Legends 2017 has been offered over here, which enables you to plan and use in case you want them. He's an Impact 3 hero at fast speed, 280 damage to the target and nearby enemies, so the damage is consistent, and summons a minion with 25% HP, which is a sizable HP. Not as high as today, but still 25% is a fairly sizable HP and 15% attack. So this version became redundant about 4 years back because other heroes, but still there are quite a few players that have been using him. But today, don't go by the stats, but if you want a consistent hitter with minion, this fellow is available. So these are the 15 heroes. Quickly, season 1, the only benefit is this is available when you activate this, which means he has to be 20 emblems, fully leveled and 20 emblems. Don't go by the stats because this has multiple costumes loaded in it. 3 costumes, and that's why the stats are very high. But give 20 emblems and you will be able to activate this additional bonus, but which is available to 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why it's not available to 1. Aslar season 1, damages all, burns all. Season 1 damages all, gives defense against special skills to all. All this used to be really handy when the game started. Reviving talent, damage to 1, and self and nearby get defense all, blue fellow. Slow speed, actually, wait. He's fast speed. Slow speed, justice, damages all and gives accuracy element to all. And Oberkan, damage to the target at fast speed and minor damage to nearby. And then only one, that is himself, the caster, gets 115% counter attack buff for 4 turns. So this is the Fated Summon portal. My personal view, I'm extremely disappointed. But then it's not about, I'm not the target for this portal. This is being offered to 2 types of players. Players who don't summon regularly, which means they don't spend, and hence whatever resources they collect from playing the game, they use to summon. It's for them. If they can, in 167, which is 6 months, or rather I would say almost half a year, do 100 summons, they can pull a hero of their choice from here, which is fairly possible to do if you're playing the game regularly at a normal pace, not overdoing it, but still ensuring that you're collecting all resources, those epic hero tokens, the freebies, which have started, because in 167 days, there will be at least 10 freebies that will create, there will be some amount of freebies that will create 10 summons from the freebies itself, if not more. So that's that. Second is, it is aimed at new players. who get a little bit of a starting bump through certain hero. And I'm not talking about the hero stats, but the main use is the hero specials. And that is where an Athena comes into play via her specials of defense down, which is still very much relevant. Albi's revival, Mother North's revival, handy. This guy's attack down and defense down is useful. Elemental defense down is absolutely priceless. This elemental defense down is very useful too. So that's that. The heroes to look out for these two types of players would be Guardian Panther, Athena. You can pick any of them first. Seriously. Athena will be useful against all kinds of teams because she's giving regular defense down. That can be used against everybody. Panther will have a limited use because the elemental defense down against dark is only going to apply with dark tiles and the dark heroes causing damage. So that's that. So you can pick whichever you want depending on your requirement. Then come the two revivers, Albi and Mother North. I would recommend Mother North very clearly first because not just 50%, which is a higher chance to revive with a lesser HP, but 30% health is straight 30% health being given. So there is no heal over turn, but Albi is also has got his own use. So these are the four heroes that I can actually put in a word. Then King Arthur can be looked at because he has his use. And then comes Castell, Impact 3, and Impact All with those ailments, Santa Claus. So these are the heroes that I would recommend, and rest of the fellows, depending on your understanding and requirement, you can always do. If I have to give a weak recommendation, you can look at this one, but this is really less. 185% damage is too less. I'm taking it back. So that's that. I would leave it at this. There is a hero, in case you don't have any, you're a new starter. Magni is worth picking up because his damage potential is very high, but his defense is extremely low. So you'll have to reinforce him. Being a reviver via the talent route is useful. So that's it. The rest of the fellows, I will leave it to your better judgment. There's some hero analysis sitting here and there, but these are my thoughts based on my experience in the game and how I would approach this if I was a new player today with the knowledge that I already have. This, who I require first, I'll pick up. Then comes this, depending on my choice, though I would recommend Mother North first. Then would be this fellow. Season 1, I would like to believe this fellow is already in the roster, only in case he's not there in the roster. And then, depending on the situation, this. So, a lot of heroes to talk about, so I'm going to leave it at this. Good luck making your decision. And thanks for watching. Cheers and see you in the next video.